Hello. It's Ian and Giulia here from British Library. So you'll have, we were here last year in Hilversum, getting very excited about our exhibition that was just about to open. That's now been and sadly gone. There we go. So we thought we'd come talk to you about sort of what we did, why we did it, what we learnt, and so on. First of all, sort of some of our motivation. So what was really important to us was sort of normalising the Born Digital in our wider collection. So actually being able to talk about the kinds of things we do in web archiving and collecting digital objects, born digital objects, through things like our public events, our public programme, engaging with our kind of users and very, very wider body of people who visit the library and use the library. And then also sort of help us really understand what that means when we start putting these types of collections into a public space. So kind of how do people interact with it? What are the kinds of things that support that that's needed, particularly thinking about kind of contextual collecting. So previously we'd prioritised researchers in higher education and creators, and we wanted to learn more about those users. But I think we were also surprised about the people who were using the exhibition or coming in to see the exhibition and interacting with it. So we showed works created for the web, standalone apps, and works at cross-media. So works created for the web, all of these we had included in the web archive to kind of greater or lesser extents of success, and actually showing them helped us to understand that a bit more. So that went from things that were sort of relatively simple, so created using things like Twine, so that's like see you later, through to works that were created for mobile devices or interacted with data in some way, so things like Breathe, and this is a picture of wind, and then very visually striking material, so you can see Seed, a sort of detail from Seed there with someone interacting. Standalone apps, of course, we didn't use web archiving to collect the app themselves, but we were using web archiving to collect a lot of contextual information around them, so kind of what they were, how they were used, how people responded to them. And then most kind of challenging and most fun in some ways was kind of the cross-media work. So Clockwork Watch, we were able to kind of host them at the library for one night, but they kind of produce a print comic and have live events where people kind of interact, and the web is very much a kind of enabling structure for that. And now I'm going to hand over to Giulia to do the complicated bit about what we learned.
Top. Thank you, Ian. So we had quite a few challenges setting up the exhibition, as you can imagine, especially in terms of technical dependencies. So everything had to keep running for a long time, ideally without relying on an internet connection, so on kind of lockdown terminals. Which meant that while we showed works that we have in our web archive, we decided not to use the web archive copies of these works. And we also had to consider how to present this publication within the context of a physical exhibition, so how we could best facilitate audience interaction with these works. And interpretation really played a key role in this and in contextualizing these works as well. So we created contextual materials such as interviews with authors and playthrough videos. And we also included some graphics and physical items within the gallery and wrote interpretation text to kind of short interpretation text really focus on interaction with these works. And it's interesting to see in the post-exhibition feedback that we got that we had mainly a younger audience compared to other British Library exhibitions, but also a specialized audience, so people with already some knowledge of the topic. So less likely to discover something new, maybe, but still very happy to engage and happy to see an exhibition on digital storytelling. And in particular, in terms of contextual material, we had a strong majority reporting that the interviews and playthrough videos really improved their experience. And all of this feedback on contextual information especially was really helpful for us in guiding our collecting activities to really continue collecting contextual information, also to support use and preservation over the long term as well. And we are in the process of uploading the interview videos onto our research repository so that we can provide access to this material outside of exhibition settings as well. And we are also continuing our context collecting of web-based material using web archiving tools. and also planning to do further research into kind of linking and displaying contextual materials alongside collected works and reviewing copyright and licenses for access and reuse as well. That's all. Thank you.